afternoon all over Windsor. The pictures have just been absolutely incredible, as you've seen. The crowd size is massive. They had predicted some 100,000 people would turn out. They streamed in to this town of about 30,000 all morning. They came by bus, they came by car, they came by train. And certainly here at Alexandra Gardens, this beautiful corner just west of the Castle Hill and the castle itself, a huge crowd, and everyone got exactly what they wanted, which was a beautiful ceremony, an incredible show with a few surprises. And we had everything here from, well, they're still partying here, but we had live music. We had a lot of people dressed up, as you may have seen earlier, in wedding dresses, certainly getting into the spirit of it. The champagne did flow, as did the tears. The ceremony was exactly, the people I spoke with anyway, what they were hoping to get. Prince Harry, who is so popular among people here, and people that we talked to who came in from around the world. The Commonwealth countries, of course, well represented. Canada certainly represented here as well. And a lot of people who said that this is the best ceremony, the best royal wedding that they can remember. Certainly it may be the most emotional, Anne-Marie, that we have seen in some time. So I think everybody got what they were hoping for.
Yeah, you know, it was very emotional. You could see the love between the two of them. You know, love was definitely in the air. We had a really nice moment when, you know, from our vantage point, we're right above High Street, so we could see into the carriages that walked by. And the most beautiful thing was they were clasped with their hands clasped with their fingers laced together, like we saw them through the entire ceremony. Typically in royal weddings, we see the brides hang on to the bouquet. There's no touching between the bride or groom, but they held hands the entire time when they were sitting listening to the sermon the entire time. Speaking of the sermon, it was interesting to catch the looks on the faces of some of the family members. A little bit, they had some church in the chapel. So the crowd here has started to thin out a little bit, but just a real mood.
Hear a pin drop during the ceremony, but those first moments where you got to see Harry, of course, but then his bride, and that first look at the dress and its simplicity, but its contemporary design. People went absolutely berserk here. Of course, the kiss, forget about it. And also the fact that when they were pronounced husband and wife, a great cheer went up throughout this crowd. You know, they call the royal family around here the firm. And you really got a sense of that when they pan the family in the chapel. And you must think it's such...
Diana there at all? I know they played one of the songs, one of the hymns that was played at her funeral.
Well, I think it's always been very nice the way the boys have always wanted her to be a part of their day.
I would give it a 9.
A 9, okay.
Yeah, no, I think it ticked all the boxes for me.
Okay.
Yeah, the weather was perfect.
Yes.
This is England, right? It was a rain. So the weather was perfect, the picnic was perfect, I was with good people. It ticked the boxes.
Okay. Guys, there you go. You got an 11 here and a 9. You can't do much better than that.
I would say that is a perfect rating, Todd. And I'm just going to say the beauty of live television, I've now moved location. We had a bit of a position to pick up one side, both sides of that 15-foot train. That really was absolutely beautiful.
and I would like to know how Brandon Gonez, you're in Toronto, it's very early there in the morning.
Look at the smiles. I mean, we're replaying the shot there where, of course, Meghan makes her way to the front of the altar, seeing Harry for the first time. And Jan, I know you did a lot of research, just so that you really understood.
When I heard
the
about
type
this
of relationship.
opportunity, I don't screw around.
We'll be there, and what a ceremony that was. Certainly not the kind that this chapel is used to hearing, used to seeing.
Control, that sort of thing. I know they're just doing a job, but sometimes it goes a bit too far. But getting, whatever it is.
So now attention starts to turn to the big soccer game in London this afternoon between Chelsea and Manchester United. So a very big day here in England, and we spoke to a number of people who made the trip to be here, thinking that it would be just that bit more special to be in Windsor. And I have to tell you, it certainly felt that way. And I know for everyone in our production today involved in the show, the atmosphere around here the last few days, revving up to this large day has been quite something, a real experience.
Will you take Meghan to be your wife? Will you love her, comfort her, honour and protect her, and forsaking all other, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Meghan, will you take Harry to be your husband? Will you
And that
love
was probably the hardest part of the day for Meghan and Harry, which is now over. They are now on their way, if they're not already, at St. George's Hall for a reception hosted by Her Majesty the Queen, Harry's grandmother, for all 600 guests. That means the Oprah Winfreys, the George Clooney's, the David Beckhams of this.
Not the usual style that they're used to there, but it did bring a real breath of fresh air, and I think there were a lot of differences in that ceremony.
Beautiful.
Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable. That's a good thing. Was there a highlight for you, Lisa?
I think that when they came out on the steps, because every time they haven't kissed. So when they came out on the steps and they kissed to the world, I thought that was really, really something.
Right.
Yeah, it was quite touching.
So you go home happy?
Yeah, tick the box.
and
The dress. It was very romantic, off the shoulder, I loved it. And the headscarf was gorgeous.
So if you were going to give the day out of 10, what would you? A large, complex organization that Meghan Markle now finds herself in, and just how well she carried herself, and how she's so relaxed in that. It really is quite remarkable. I have to tell you now, on the big screens behind us, now that the royal wedding is mostly through, they've been talking about the football, the big soccer championships, the FA Cup here. That will get all the attention later this afternoon. The wedding went off
Every single morning sits beside Ben Mulrooney.
Yes, I
and
do.
today the world watched him basically sit across from Her Majesty. And
I compete with that.
Well,
How do I compete with that?
you just curtsy and say, what was it like, Ben?
You know, it's going to be interesting. So we are back together again on Tuesday on your morning to chat about it. And I was thinking, you know, to see him sitting across from the Queen, I don't know that